This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, all, good morning. Welcome back. Yeah. So today we are going to discuss, we are going to create AWS account, how to create a AWS account. Okay. And what are the regions, availability zones inside of the AWS console. Okay. What are the services available? What is auto scaling? What is IAM? What are the things available? What is billing? Okay. What is support? So we'll walk through console, AWS console. Okay, first we'll try to understand how to create AWS account. Fine. So can you see my screen, everyone? Screen
Yeah, we can
visibility
see it. Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. So when we want to create an AWS account, first we need to go aws.amazon.com is the URL. aws.amazon.com. Type this. I already signed in, that is why automatically it is going. So I just sign out from here. Yeah. So when you open this URL, aws.amazon.com, so you will get some here sign up tab. Okay, so I show you that how you get that. So when I click on this, create new AWS account. So this will you get first time you will get this tab. Create a new AWS account. Click on this. Yeah, like this you will get. So first time when you open aws.amazon.com, you will get sign up for AWS account. Okay, so click on that. So once you open that, first it will ask you email address. So you need to give email address, okay, password, confirm password, AWS account name. So it will ask you some account name. Okay, so once you provide this, click on continue. Okay, so it will move to next page. It will ask you address, your address, phone number. Okay, some more details it will ask you. Go next. Okay, so at the end it will ask you account details. Your credit card details or debit card details. So that details we need to provide. So otherwise account will not be success. Okay, so if you don't provide account details, account will not be created properly. Okay, it will not create. So you need to provide account details, either credit card details or debit card details. It will take only master cards, it will not take SBI card, it will not take Andhra Bank card, it will not take syndicated bank card. Okay, so it will take ICICI, HDFC, Axis. These are the debit cards it will allow, and the credit cards also it will allow. Okay, so once you submit that account details, so from your account 2 rupees will be cut, 2 rupees will be deducted. Okay, so that 2 rupees after 1 week they will revert back to your account. Okay, so unknowingly they will not charge any amount from your account. So whenever you create any resources, yeah, this account is 12 months free data account. Okay, within that free services we need to use. Okay, so 12 months free data account, 750 hours resources we can use. So whenever you create any resources like servers, storage, network, so once you practice that, you need to stop or terminate. Otherwise, what will happen here? So bill will be generated. For example, one server you created today, EC2 instance. Once complete the practice, you need to stop the server or terminate the server. Otherwise, bill will be generated. Okay. So bill will be generated, but they will not charge anything from your account. Unknowingly, they will not charge anything. So if you utilize beyond the limits, what they will do? They will not charge anything, but they will suspend your account. They will stop your account. So again, so we need to create one more account. Nothing will happen. So first they will shoot some emails. So you have generated this much of bill. You need to pay the bills. Okay. So by the time if you raise a case with the vendor, AWS vendor, they will revert that utilization. They will zero that account. Okay. Again, you can work on it. So if you are not responding to the emails, they will suspend the account. So by the time you can create one more email, new email, and you can create new account. Okay, that's it. Nothing will happen. So unknowingly, they will not charge any amount from your account. Okay, so once you create the account, so you can create today itself. From tomorrow onwards, we'll start working on the services. Okay, so parallelly you can practice. Once we complete any service, parallelly you can practice in your console. So if you have any challenges to create account, so please take the snapshot and post into WhatsApp group. So I'll guide you how to create. Okay, once you create the account, so you can go to same link. So click on my account, AWS Management Console, click on this and give your username, password. So which is the root account? Basically we use root account, not IAM user. So IAM user is normally in real time, real projects we use IAM user. So you need to create root account only. Okay. So you can give username here and click on next. Okay, and you can give this characters image below. Click on submit and password. You can give password. Click on sign in. Okay, so I'm able to log in my console. So this is my AWS management console, right? Yeah. Any questions up to here to create account? It's very simple. So you can create today itself. From tomorrow you can practice in the console. Fine. Yeah. Next one is here we have different tabs. We'll go through this first. Then we'll go to services. Okay. So here we have first tab is username. So this is a username. So before this, so we have one tab which is shell, cloud shell. Okay. So shell means it is a command line. So if you want to enable command line, you can click on this and you can enable this. Okay. How to enable this? We'll see later. Okay. So next one is bell icon. What is this? So for example, if you get any alerts, for example, if you use any services utilization beyond the limits, you will get some notifications here. Okay. So whenever you get any alerts here, so it will show you. So in bell icon, it will show you 3 alerts, 4 alerts like that. So once you click on this, you will get that. Okay, open issues, schedule changes, okay, other notifications, event logs, it will show you. So based on that, you can change, you can terminate your resources, you can work on the issues. Okay. Next one is your username. If you click on username, so here you have account details, your account details. This is my account ID. Okay. So my organization details. So if you are working with real projects, so you will get some organization details here. Okay. And also my service quotas. What are the limitations having inside of the console? That we will get from the service quotas. Okay. And my billing dashboard. Okay. So in this we will get the bill details. If you open this tab, so these are the billing details. Okay, in this billing tab we can get all the billings and utilization services wise. Like so here, if you see Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud 100% utilized. Okay, and another service 750 hours, 13% completed. Okay, so and 30 GB storage, elastic block storage, 10% completed, 10.66% completed. So you will get details here. Okay, so in this billing tab, you will get details, billing details. So if you want to check previous bills, previous month bills, okay, go to bills, left side you have bills, right? Click on this bills. So you can select the month. So for example, February month. February, nothing is there. So March. March is, I have 261 bill. Okay. April month. April I have 680 bill. Okay, like this, you will get months. Okay, so you can check you can select the month, whatever months you want to select, you can select. So in real projects, if you want to, yeah, here also, if you want to download these bills, you can download from here. CSV format, you can download. And also you can print the bills. Okay. So these are the services which I used in April month. For these services, I got this bill. This is the detailed billing. So GST also we will add. Fine. So next one is, so my security credentials. So here you can change your credentials. If you want to change your logins, you can change from here. Okay. And if you want to sign out the console, you can click on the sign out, you can sign out from. Okay. Next one is global. One more tab is there, which is global. So global is not, it is a basically, so it is a global service. Billing is global service. That is why it is showing global. So if you open any service here, EC2 or something, it will show you region. I'll show you that. See here. It is changed. Okay. Increase the font size here. Yeah. So when you open any service, it will show you some region. So this is Ohio, US East 2 region. Okay. So these are the different regions available. This is US East 2 region, Ohio region. So this is North Virginia region. This is North California region. This is Oregon, US West Oregon. So these are the Americas regions. Region means it is a data center. Okay. So these are the different data centers. Okay. So this is Africa region, Cape Town. Okay. These are the Asia Pacific. Okay. Mumbai region also available. Right. Singapore region, Sydney, Tokyo. These are the Asia Pacific, APAC regions. And also Canada region. This is Canada region. And next one is Europe regions. These are the Europe regions. Frankfurt. Okay. And Ireland, London, okay, so Paris. These are the different regions, Europe regions. So next one is Middle East region and South America region. So these are all AWS regions, like data centers. You can say data centers. Okay. So under this data centers, we'll have availability zones. Okay. So we'll discuss that once complete this support tab. We'll discuss that. Okay. Next one is support. So this is very, very important. Support is important. So for example, when we are working on any service, if you face any issues, like we created one network, VPC. So in the network, we are unable to create some subnet, or else we are unable to create some elastic IP, or else we are unable to create some DNS. So by the time, if you face any issues, we can raise some support ticket. Okay, you can raise some case with AWS vendor. For example, if you want to raise any case, click on support center. Click on support center here. So you will get some, yeah, AWS support center. Here, create case. If you click on this, it will ask you to create case here. Yeah, see here, account and billing support. If you want to have any account and billing support, click on this and you can give the details. Okay. And if you want to create any service limit increase request, you can select this. Or else if you have any technical support, if you need any technical support, so you can select this and you can give your details, what are the issue. Okay, you need to update that. Okay, then you can submit the case. So once you submit this case, so it will receive by AWS support team. Okay, so they will have some SLA. What is SLA? SLA and ఏంటండి?
Service level agreement.
Yeah. So SLA means it is service level agreement. So within that SLA, service level agreement means it is a time frame. Within the time limit, we need to close the ticket. Okay. So service level agreement will have 3 types. Okay. One is P1 tickets, P1 SLA, P2 SLA, P3 SLA. So P1 ticket means it is a priority 1 tickets. So those are very critical tickets we raise in priority 1. So when we raise the priority 1 ticket, so within 1 hour it should be resolved. Otherwise, it will be breached. It will escalate to next level. Okay. So priority 2 tickets will have 4 hours time. Priority 3 tickets will have 24 hours or 48 hours time. Right? Based on your organization standards, based on your organization SLAs they give. Okay. So the SLAs will be like that. So based on the SLAs, AWS team will work on the ticket and they will resolve the issue. They will call back. AWS team will call back. You need to give phone number. They will call back and they will get the feedback also. Okay. So yeah. So whenever in real time also we'll raise the case like this. In real time projects also. So we click on this support center and we raise a case from the support center. Next one is expert help. Yeah. Next one is expert help. So expert help means, so we will get some, yeah. So here we have different kind of supports. Okay, phone support, and chat support, email support. So vendor will give you 3 types of supports: phone support, chat support, email support, and ticket case support. Okay. So here expert help means, so some customers, some project teams will take premium support. So premium support will have expert help. Okay. So we are using premium support. So expert help means directly we can call them at this team. Then we'll get this support whenever we need it. Okay. And next one is forums. Forums means in AWS we have different forums. Okay. So if you want to get any information from the new products or any troubleshooting or any issues, so we need to register here in forums. So we'll get all the information from here. You get some details, product details, okay, and new services launched. If any new services launched, if any challenges, we'll get all the information from forums. Okay, next one is documentation. Documentation is very, very important. So here in this documentation, so you will get all the official documentation. Okay, so for example, we want to have EC2 document. Click on EC2. See here, we have different formats available: HTML, PDF, Kindle, GitHub form, different formats available. So I want to open in PDF format. Click on PDF. The document will be opened in PDF format. If you want to download this document, you can download into your laptop. See, so this is PDF format. So this is official documentation which provided by AWS. If you want to download this document, you can click on this. It will be downloaded. So everything will be available inside of this. This is official document. See here, sign up for AWS account. Even sign up also we can get from here. Okay, and create new key pair. What is key pair? What is security group? What is request prerequisites? Okay, launch an instance. How to launch instance? Connect your instance. Clean up your instance. Okay, so everything is available inside of this documentation. Okay, if you want to download this documentation, you can download into your local laptop. Okay, yeah. Next one is, so training. Training also important here. Training means sometimes AWS will provide free trainings. Okay, any new service launch here, by the time they will provide free trainings. Okay, if you click on this training, go down here. Yeah. So these are the latest in AWS training and certification. So if you want to enroll, you can enroll and you can attend these webinars. Okay. So see here, digital training, classroom time, events, different times they will provide sometimes. Okay. So whatever free trainings are available, those free trainings you can register. So if it is not free, so they will charge something. Okay. So here they are showing enroll, but there is no free. So under this they will show you free training. So whatever free trainings are available, you can register and you can attend them. So that will be free. Otherwise, so these trainings will be charged. It is not free of cost. Okay. Yeah. Next one is getting started resource center. What is this? So apart from this AWS services, we'll get other services also instead of the console. Click on this. Go down here. See here. Full stack developer, front end developer. Okay. So DevOps engineer, artificial. AI means artificial intelligence. AI app developer, data scientist. Okay. Database administrator. These are the different partners, third-party tools. Okay. Databases, serverless, containers, storage, compute, machine learning. Okay, these are the different services. You can go through these services if you want to. You can get some information from this. Okay, so these are the things available inside of the support. Fine. Yeah, so we'll go back to the regions once here. Yeah. So these are the regions. Region means we already discussed, these are the data centers. So under these regions we'll have availability zones. Availability zone is also data center. So what is availability zone? What is region? So we'll try to understand. I give you some overview. So when we talk about VPC, we'll go deep dive. I give you some overview of this. So region. Yeah, so region is a data center. We already discussed, right? So region is this is a region which is data center. So this is, for example, this is APAC Mumbai region. APAC, Asia Pacific, Mumbai region. Okay, so in this console we have Mumbai region, right? This is Mumbai region, for example, right? So under this region, so we have availability zones. Okay, availability zone is nothing but it is also data center. Okay, so under this region, we have availability zones. Like this, availability zones will be available inside of the region. So inside of the Mumbai region, we have different availability zones. So what is the availability zone? What is the use of this? Okay, so availability zone also, it is a data center. So it is a availability zone 2A. Okay, so this is 2B, this is 2C. So this is, for example, this is Hyderabad availability zone. Okay, this is Chennai availability zone. This is Bangalore availability zone. Okay. So why this many availability zone required? What are the use of this? So this availability zones we call it as DR data centers. DR. What is DR and DR and AT? What is DR data centers? Yeah. DR means it is a disaster recovery data centers. Okay. So disaster recovery data centers. So why we require these data centers? Why we require DR data centers? Okay. So in 2016, early 2017, some floods happened in Chennai. So most of the IT area affected. Okay. So by the time no power, no diesel, nothing was available. Most of the IT area affected by the time. So by the time we were working from Chennai, our team members, they moved from Chennai to Hyderabad. They started working from Hyderabad. Okay. So because by the time, so huge disaster happened in Chennai, right? So for example, by the time our availability zone is in Chennai, what we have? So this is Chennai data center, for example, Chennai availability zone. So some floods happened, disaster happened. By the time Chennai data center is, Chennai AWS data center is available inside of that IT area. Okay. So what will happen here? So whatever applications are running on this data center, whatever production is running on this application, running on this data center, those will be down. Data center will be shut down. So by the time what will happen? Our production will be down, right? So yeah, to avoid that, we have different availability zones here. Instead of the region, we have different availability zones, right? So this DR data centers, what will happen here? Every 2 minutes, the data will be shipped with other availability zone like this. Data will be synchronized with other availability zone. So whatever latest updates are happening inside of the availability zone, that changes will be replicated to nearby edge location. So for example, so this Chennai data center is down due to some floods. What will happen? Whatever servers are available here, whatever applications are running here, those will be moved to nearby edge location. So that production applications, servers, switches, storages, network, everything will be accessed from Bangalore data center. Okay. So the user who is accessing the application, he doesn't know from where I am accessing. So immediately it will switch to other data center. Okay. So without any manual intervention, automatically it will take care. So these configurations will be taken care by vendor. We know to configure this. Okay. AWS vendor will take care of these things. Okay. This availability zone configurations, region configurations, everything will be taken care by vendor. Okay. So this availability zones, if they want to build this availability zones, okay, so they will check 100 years of historical data. Okay, last 100 years historical data they will check and they will build this availability zones. So last few years back they have planned one data center in Vizag. Okay, so after Hudud they cancelled that. Hudud disaster happened, right, in Vizag. So after Hudud, they cancelled that data center and they moved to Kolkata. Now one data center is building in Kolkata. So very soon it will be come into this zones. Okay. So in Hyderabad we have one availability zone which is in high-tech city area. So behind the TCS, I think. So one availability zone is there. Okay. So if they want to build any availability zone, they will check 100 years of historical data. If any floods are happening, any earthquakes are happening, any terror attacks are happening. These all the things are they will check. So if they want to build any data center in Pakistan, for example, so frequently they will put some. They have some terror attacks, right? So 140 per second, 140 per second, they will put sometimes. So by the time what will happen? Data centers will be shut down. Production will be down. That is why they will check historical data. 100 years of historical data they will check and they will build the data centers. Okay, so our duty actually what we will do as a DevOps engineer, what we will do. So instead of this availability zone, we will create VPC. Here we create VPC. So, and we will take care of this VPC. Instead of this availability zone, we create VPC. Okay, so this is VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. So network, virtual network. Okay, instead of the data center, some space. This is virtual network. Okay, so instead of this availability zone, we create VPC. Under this VPC, so we will create subnets. We'll create different subnets. So what is subnet? Anyone guess? Anyone having idea? Subnet, what is subnet? So this is, for example, this is public subnet. So this is private subnet. Subnet and data. Any guess? Anyone?
Smaller networks.
Other network. Okay. Yeah. Subnet is nothing but it is a logically divided network. So for example, so this is VPC. So inside of the VPC we have 1000 servers, 1000 IP addresses. Okay. So in 1000 servers we have 25 servers are development servers, 25 servers are testing servers, 250 servers are development servers, 250 servers are testing servers, 500 servers are production servers. Okay, so those servers, if you configure in same range, so we will not have any security, proper security. That is why what we will do, using subnetting, we will logically divide into subnets. So 250 servers we divide into one subnet, one range, one IP range. 250 servers we divide into different range for testing servers. Like that, we'll logically divide. Okay. So here we have two types of subnets: public subnet, private subnet. Okay. So public subnet means these are internet facing. So public subnet means public servers, like internet facing. Okay. Private subnets means these are intranet facing. So within the organizations we use private subnets, private servers. So instead of this public subnets, what we will do, we'll create, instead of this public subnet, we create public servers. Public servers means internet facing. Instead of this private subnets, we create private servers. Right? So public servers we can access through internet. Private servers we can access through intranet. So for example, so what are the servers we host in this private subnets? Internal applications, time card applications in our project, for example, time card applications and a leave management system. Okay, mail servers. These are the internal applications. We host internal applications in private subnets. So private subnets are very secure. Okay. So here we have one firewall. It will not allow inside of the traffic. It will not allow inbound traffic. Okay. So public subnets, public servers we can access through internet. So for example, websites, job sites. Normally, when you apply job, you can check in the portal, right? Company websites. That will allow inbound traffic. But private subnets, for example, you have some servers. So for example, if you want to connect your office network, how will you connect? Directly can you connect? So directly, can you connect directly? If you want to connect your office network, for example,
connect to via
yeah, directly we can't connect, right? We need to connect VPN, then we can connect to our office network. Okay. Through VPN only can connect our private network. So for example, I want to connect my office network. First, I need to connect VPN. Then only I'm able to connect my office network. The same way, so private servers, private network, we need to connect to VPN. This is for intranet. Okay. So public servers are, these are internet facing. So company websites, job sites. Okay. So these are posted on public subnets. Okay. So inside of these subnets, we create servers, EC2 instances, and we can configure servers. We can hand over to project teams. That is regular practice, which we perform in real projects. Okay. This when we discuss about VPC, so we'll go deep dive. Okay. Any questions in this? Anyone?
In real time, create public and
Yeah, in real time. So it depends as per your requirement. So if you want to have any public public subnets, you can create public subnet. You can create public servers. So private servers are mandatory. Public, if you need any requirement, you can create public. So private servers by default it will be created. As per the requirement, we create subnets.
okay.
Fine. So here we have VPC. So this VPC will go deep dive. So when we work on this, after 5 sessions, we'll discuss about this VPC. Okay. Yeah. Next one is if you want to create any servers instances, you need to go to EC2 and we create the instances. What are the whatever storage required, whatever processing required, whatever RAM required. So you need to select that memory and all. So we'll create this EC2 instance. Tomorrow we'll work on this EC2. Okay. Next one is one more important service available here, which is auto scaling. What is this auto scaling? I'll give you some overview on this auto scaling. Okay. AWS auto scaling. Yeah. So basically, what is auto scaling? Auto scaling is nothing but, so whenever we need any resources, it will, when you configure auto scaling, whenever we needed any resources, automatically it will scale up resources. Whenever there is no demand, it will scale down automatically. For example, so Flipkart is there, Flipkart site is there. Flipkart, okay. So Flipkart people will give some offers sometimes, festival offers, New Year offers, okay. So they give some offers like mobile offers. Mobile cost is Samsung mobile 50% off, okay. Some laptop 30% off, okay. Different offers they provide in festival time, New Year time, okay. So they give some offers, right? So by the time, for example, from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So they are giving some offer, mobile offer, which is 50% off. Mobile offer, 50% off, right? So in this time frame, so what will happen here? So they expected here, they expected 15,000 users. 15,000 users they expected. So by 11 a.m., maybe 15,000 users hit this side. They expected like this. But actual turn up is 25,000. 25,000 users hit the site. What will happen here? In your channel,
it will go down.
site will not be open. Okay, so no one will get the offers because so they expected 15,000 users, but actual turn up is 25,000 users. By the time site will not be open because requests will be increased, inbound traffic will be increased to Flipkart servers. So site will not be open, right? So for example, IRCTC is there, IRCTC, Indian Railway, IRCTC. So in IRCTC, normally, normal time, you can book the ticket normally. So in Tatkal time, what will happen? By 10 o'clock, AC tickets will be started, right? So what will happen by the time? Site will not be open. So we'll get some session timeout errors. Okay, when you want to book the ticket, so it will show you, it will give you some errors. So if the site is open, in case payment time also, it will show you some timeout errors because people will access the servers. So IRCTC is government side. That is why they are not maintaining auto scaling. Okay, they are maintaining manual servers. For example, IRCTC people configure 3 servers here. Okay, so they configure 3 servers. Each server will manage 10 requests. 10 requests, for example. Okay, so maximum 3 servers will manage 30 requests. So this is a normal time basically. So it is, if by Tatkal time, what will happen? Drastically requests will be increased. By the time this servers will not be, this servers they are unable to manage the requests. Okay, so by 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, request increase drastically from 30 to 100 requests. So by the time, site will not be open, right? So that is why here auto scaling will help you to manage this. Okay, so here Flipkart already they configured auto scaling. Okay, so what will happen here in Flipkart? So whenever they receive more requests, so auto scaling automatically increase the service without any manual intervention. So once we configure the server, so how they configure auto scaling? So here once servers are, for example, so this is the auto scaling. This is Flipkart servers. These are the Flipkart servers. Okay, they will have some base servers. Base means fixed machines. These are the, so these 3 servers are base servers, for example, fixed servers. So this service will maintain maximum 30 requests. So if they receive more requests, automatically it will add another service. So here in configuration, how we configure that? In configuration, so once the 80% CPU utilization is reaches, CPU utilization 80% reaches, automatically it will add one more server. Configuration మనం ఎలా చేస్తాం? So auto scaling lo, so we configure like this. Once the CPU utilization reaches 80%, it will add one more server. So again, still it is continue. So 80%, again it will add one more server. Again it will add one more server. Again it will add one more server. Like this, whenever CPU utilization is high, more than 80%, it will add servers. So whenever there is no demand, for example, 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., so there is a demand. By the time servers will be increased like this, so many servers increased. Okay, so after 11:30, what will happen? Site will be free. So again we'll configure something like here. So whenever CPU utilization less than 60%, automatically whatever additional servers are created, so this will not be changed, fixed one will not be changed. Okay, whatever additional servers are created, those will be automatically terminated, deleted, like this. Okay, so auto scaling will manage your application up and running fine 24/7. Okay, so it will maintain your application up and running fine. Right, any questions up to here, anyone? This is just overview only. So when we discuss about auto scaling, we'll go deep dive. I'll give you more examples and we'll do practically. We'll create lab, how to increase the resources, how to decrease the resources. We'll test it out in auto scaling. Any questions up to here, anyone? Any doubts in auto scaling? Fine. So auto scaling will maintain your application up and running fine. So without any manual intervention. So once you configure auto scaling, it will maintain everything. Okay. Yeah. Whenever we discuss about this, we'll go deep dive. And the next services are like here we have. So CloudWatch, CloudTrail. These are the monitoring tools. CloudWatch is monitoring tool. CloudWatch is for our infrastructure monitoring, our service monitoring. So CloudTrail is for our AWS console monitoring. So these are the two tools, our monitoring tools. In Linux, we have NAGIOS, right? The same way, this will work in AWS console. Okay. And one more tool here, which is IAM. So IAM is identity and access management. This is all about user management. So in real-time projects, we don't use root user. We always log in with IAM user. Okay. So this is also one service. When we talk about this, I will go deep dive. And also we have storage services, which are S3. S3 means it is a simple storage service. Okay. So like Google Drive. So when we create Google Drive, so that will be created in Google Data Center, right? So in Google Drive, you can upload files, you can download files, you can edit files. The same way, S3 also will work here. S3 is a global service, right? So when you create S3 bucket, you can access from APAC region, Americas region, and Europe region. From wherever you want to access, you can access this S3 buckets. Next one is EFS, Elastic File System. This is also one of the storage. Okay, so this is for Linux workloads, file sharing from one region to other region. We can share the files. Next one is S3 Glacier, which is this is also one type of storage. This is, we can say, this is cold storage. Cold storage means it is a cheaper storage compared with all other storages. If you compare with S3 bucket, EFS, this is cheaper storage. Normally, we save the data in S3 Glacier for backup purpose, backup and long-standing data. We can save inside of this S3 Glacier. Next, gateways, storage gateways. Gateway means it is a router, okay, and AWS backup. So this is also one service. So backup our resources. Okay. So this storage services will go through, and still we have SNS, HQS, some topics are there. You can search here. SNS topic, simple notification service. One service is there, SNS service. Simple notification service means normally when we use our mobile data, for example, you have utilized 100 MB of your mobile data. So once you stop that hotspot or something, you are using hotspot to your laptop. So once you stop that hotspot, you will get some notification. You have utilized 100 MB or 200 MB. That notification will sent by SNS, simple notification service. Okay, so this will send notifications for our internet broadband, mobile geo data we use, right? So for that, SNS will help you to send the notifications. Okay, and also we have one more service, which is SQS, simple queue service. What is this? Simple queue service means what will happen here? So this is for normally in online shopping, when you book any product, okay? So for example, we book some product in Flipkart. So once we book the product, we'll get some notification like your order has been placed. Your order is placed. Some notification will get to our mobile, right? Once it is packed, once the product is packed, we'll get one more notification. So once it is reached to your city, we'll get one more notification. So once it is delivered, again we'll get one more notification. The product has been delivered. So that is queue system. So simple queue service will send the notification. Okay. So when we configure this simple queue service, so whenever they modify the changes, we'll get automatically notifications. They don't send manually, so it will trigger automatically. Okay, these two services also we cover in our sessions. Okay. So from tomorrow onwards, we'll start working on EC2. So EC2 is very, very important. So in EC2, we'll create servers and how to create server, how to connect server, how to deploy application inside of the server. So we'll try to understand. Okay. So any questions up to here, anyone?
Sir, what are the services we are using, right? That is
Yeah, we
billable,
use
sir, or
free service we use. We don't use the billing servers. We use freeware servers. Okay. Yeah. Still, some people are not clear the fee. So make by today EOD. So make sure tomorrow link will be changed. Okay. Few people are not clear till now. So make sure clear by today EOD. Otherwise, you will not be access to your link will be changed. So you will not able to access meeting from tomorrow. Okay. So today we'll change the link. From tomorrow, you will have another link. Okay. So clear your fee by today EOD, so that you will be added into the group. Already 24 people added into the group. So few more people are not clear the fee. So make sure clear by today itself. Okay. Otherwise, so tomorrow link will be changed. Fine. Yeah. So we stop here for today. Any other questions, anyone? Any questions, any doubts up to here? So from tomorrow, we start working on services. Those services are very, very important. So don't miss any sessions. So you'll get recordings. Once you get the recording, you can go through that and you can practice. And also you can create account today itself. So if you are facing any challenges to create account, so please post in that group so that I'll give you solution, whatever issues you are facing. So you can post in the group, or else you can WhatsApp me. Okay, I'll help you to create your account. Fine. So we stop here for today. Thank you all.